The story of Daystar Television Network has inspired millions around the world for decades. Built from humble beginnings, Daystar grew into one of the largest Christian television networks on Earth, reaching audiences across continents and becoming a powerful voice in Christian media. At the center of that story stood Joni Lamb, a co-founder, broadcaster, author, and one of the most recognizable faces in Christian television. But in 2024, a deeply personal family conflict erupted into public view, creating one of the most talked about controversies in modern Christian broadcasting. Allegations, public statements, family disagreements, leadership changes, and intense debate among viewers transformed what had once been a private matter into a topic discussed across churches, social media, and Christian news outlets. Then, in May 2026, the passing of Joni Lamb brought renewed attention to the events that had divided supporters and sparked difficult conversations throughout the Christian community. Today, we're looking back at the controversy, the differing perspectives, the impact on Daystar, and the legacy of Joni Lamb as this story continues to be discussed years later. Before we begin, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts respectfully in the comments below. Now, let's dive into the story. To understand why this controversy gained so much attention, it's important to understand the influence of Daystar Television Network. Founded by Marcus and Joni Lamb, Daystar began with a mission to spread Christian programming throughout the world. Over the years, the network expanded dramatically. Its broadcasts reached millions of homes. Its programming featured pastors, evangelists, worship leaders, authors, and ministry voices from around the globe. For many viewers, Daystar became more than a television network. It became part of their daily spiritual routine. Joni Lamb emerged as one of the network's most recognizable personalities. Through interviews, teaching programs, conferences, and ministry events, she became known to audiences across generations. As the years passed, Daystar also became a family-operated ministry. Several members of the Lamb family became involved in leadership and programming roles. Among them was Jonathan Lamb, who many believed would play a major role in the network's future. Everything appeared stable from the outside, but behind the scenes, tensions would eventually become public. In 2024, a family dispute involving Jonathan Lamb and his wife, Suzy, became public. The allegations centered on claims that their daughter had been sexually abused by a relative. Jonathan and Suzy publicly stated that concerns had been raised and that they believed the matter had not been handled appropriately. According to their account, they felt the issue was addressed internally rather than immediately involving law enforcement.
Then we have two options. We remove ourselves from that authority, or we submit to that authority. When we submit to authority, even if we don't fully agree with them, we protect ourselves and allow God to bless us.
Because I didn't do anything in secret. I did nothing in secret. I want it out there.
I think you should submit or leave. I think
Submit or leave.
Submit or leave.
Okay, so let's define
I
that.
respect you if you just say, you know something, I can't submit and we're going to go over here and do this. I respect that. If she did something, and she obviously has done something to screw it, walk in the door and say, can I submit something? Sure. I think this and this and this. Great. Well, let me pray about it. And she comes back and says, you know something, I don't agree. You submit or you leave.
So I love you both, but this is going to end. You submit or you leave.
I'm saying I'm submitting that it's going to help to have open conversations instead of just letting things build up.
Once you're submitted, it will. Until you're submitted, nothing. This is just a black hole that every word, every conversation is going to get sucked into the black hole, and it's just going to keep feeding this until you submit. And submission means she's the voice of God to you. Listen, Jonathan, I've had a lot of people work for me over the years.
These allegations quickly generated significant public attention. The seriousness of the claims led many viewers to demand answers. Supporters of the family expressed concern and sympathy. Others urged caution, emphasizing the importance of allowing investigations to take place before reaching conclusions. As news spread, Christian media outlets and social media users began discussing the situation extensively. The controversy rapidly became one of the most discussed topics connected to Christian broadcasting. One reason the controversy became so difficult to navigate was that different parties presented very different versions of events. Jonathan and Suzy maintained their concerns regarding how the situation had been handled. They also suggested that disagreements surrounding the matter contributed to changes within Daystar leadership. Jonathan later stated publicly that his removal from leadership was connected to conflicts over the handling of the allegations. Daystar leadership strongly disputed those claims. Joni Lamb and other network representatives denied allegations of wrongdoing. They rejected accusations suggesting that anyone had attempted to cover up misconduct. Instead, they maintained that the network and family members had acted appropriately. As a result, supporters found themselves facing two competing narratives. Each side defended its position, each side shared its perspective publicly, and viewers struggled to determine what conclusions should be drawn. The public response was enormous. Across social media platforms, thousands of people weighed in. Some viewers expressed support for Jonathan and Suzy. Others defended Joni Lamb and Daystar leadership. Many believers felt heartbroken watching a family dispute unfold publicly. For longtime viewers, the situation was especially painful. They had followed the ministry for years. They had watched the family work together. They had seen Daystar become a major force in Christian broadcasting. Now they were witnessing a very public division. The discussions often became emotional. Questions about leadership, accountability, transparency, and family relationships dominated conversations. The controversy extended far beyond Daystar itself. It became part of a broader conversation about how Christian organizations handle difficult situations and maintain public trust.
As the tension intensified, authorities examined the allegations. Many observers hoped the investigation would provide clarity. Months passed as people waited for updates. Supporters on all sides closely followed developments. Then, in 2025, authorities announced that the investigation had been closed without charges being filed. Officials cited insufficient evidence. The announcement immediately generated additional debate. For some observers, the closure represented an important development. Others argued that unanswered questions remained. The result did not bring complete resolution to public discussions. Instead, conversations continued. Supporters and critics interpreted the outcome in different ways. The controversy remained a major topic among those who followed Christian media.
Regardless of differing opinions, the controversy had a significant impact on Daystar. Public trust became a central issue. Questions about leadership and governance became more prominent. Viewers debated the future direction of the network. Some supporters remained fully committed to Daystar's ministry. Others expressed disappointment or concern. The situation highlighted how quickly family conflicts can affect public organizations, especially ministries that operate in the spotlight. Daystar continued broadcasting and producing programming, but discussions surrounding the controversy never completely disappeared. The story remained part of the network's public identity. As the controversy continued to be discussed, Joni Lamb remained one of the most visible figures connected to Daystar. Supporters praised her decades of ministry work. They pointed to the network's global reach and the lives impacted through Christian broadcasting. Critics continued raising questions about the controversy and its aftermath. Throughout this period, public attention frequently returned to the unresolved family conflict. Interviews, statements, and online discussions kept the topic alive. For many observers, the controversy became one of the defining stories associated with Daystar's later years. On May 7, 2026, news broke that Joni Lamb had passed away at the age of 65. The announcement shocked many viewers around the world. Tributes quickly appeared across social media and Christian broadcasting circles. Friends, ministry leaders, and supporters reflected on her life and contributions. Many remembered her role in helping build Daystar into a global network. Others reflected on the controversies that had surrounded the ministry in recent years. As often happens following the death of a public figure, renewed attention focused on both accomplishments and challenges. The family dispute once again became part of public discussion. People revisited earlier events. Questions resurfaced. Supporters and critics shared their perspectives. The story entered a new chapter.
Today, discussions about Joni Lamb's legacy continue. For many supporters, she will be remembered as a pioneering Christian broadcaster who helped bring faith-based programming to audiences around the world. For others, the controversy remains an important part of the conversation. These differing perspectives reflect the complexity of public leadership. Major ministries often leave behind complicated legacies. Achievements and controversies can become intertwined. The debate surrounding Daystar demonstrates how difficult it can be for organizations to navigate public crises while maintaining trust and unity. The story of Joni Lamb, Daystar Television Network, and the family controversy remains one of the most discussed topics in modern Christian media. It is a story involving family relationships, leadership challenges, public accountability, and deeply personal allegations. While investigations concluded without charges being filed, public conversations have continued. The passing of Joni Lamb renewed interest in these events and prompted many people to reflect on her life, ministry, and legacy. As history continues to evaluate these developments, one thing remains certain: the impact of Daystar, the influence of Joni Lamb, and the controversy that divided supporters will continue to be discussed for years to come.
One of the biggest questions following Joni Lamb's passing is what comes next for Daystar Television Network. For decades, Daystar's identity was closely connected to its founders. Marcus and Joni Lamb were not only leaders of the ministry, but also the faces viewers saw regularly on their screens. As leadership transitions continue, many supporters are wondering how the network will navigate the future. Will Daystar maintain the same vision that helped it grow into a global Christian broadcaster? Will new leadership bring significant changes? And can the network move beyond the controversies that have dominated discussions in recent years? These are questions that many viewers continue to ask. What makes the situation unique is that Daystar is not simply a television company. For many supporters, it is a ministry. As a result, discussions surrounding the network often involve not only business decisions, but also questions of faith, stewardship, accountability, and spiritual leadership. The future of Daystar will likely depend on how effectively it can address those concerns while continuing its mission. The controversy also had an impact far beyond Daystar itself. It sparked broader discussions throughout Christian media. Many ministry leaders began talking about transparency and accountability. Others discussed the challenges that arise when ministries are led by family members. Supporters of various Christian organizations pointed out that ministries, like any institution, face difficult situations and internal conflicts. Critics argued that religious organizations should be held to the highest standards because of the trust placed in them by supporters. As a result, the Daystar controversy became part of a much larger conversation. It raised questions that extended well beyond one family or one network. How should ministries respond when allegations emerge? How should leadership handle disagreements within families? What responsibilities do organizations have to their audiences when controversies become public? These questions continue to be debated today. Perhaps the most heartbreaking aspect of the story is that it involved members of the same family. Family disagreements are difficult under any circumstances, but when those disagreements unfold in front of a global audience, the challenges become even greater. Millions of people watched the situation develop through interviews, statements, videos, and social media posts. What might have remained a private family matter instead became a public discussion, followed by people around the world. For many observers, this was one of the saddest elements of the controversy. Regardless of which perspective people supported, most agreed that seeing family members publicly separated by conflict was painful. The situation served as a reminder that even prominent ministry families face struggles, disagreements, and difficult decisions. Another important part of this story involves the viewers themselves. many longtime Daystar supporters felt caught in the middle. Some had followed Joni Lamb's ministry for decades. Others admired Jonathan and Suzy Lamb. When the controversy became public, viewers often felt forced to choose sides. Many didn't want to do that. Instead, they hoped for reconciliation. They hoped for healing. They hoped for clarity. Some supporters stepped away from the discussion entirely because they felt there was not enough information available to reach conclusions. Others continued following every development closely. Years later, many of those same viewers still have unanswered questions. That is one reason the controversy remains a topic of conversation today. Whether someone supported Daystar leadership, Jonathan and Suzy Lamb, or chose not to take a side, many people believe there are lessons that can be learned from the events. One lesson often discussed is the importance of communication. When communication breaks down, misunderstandings can grow. Another lesson is the importance of transparency. Organizations that operate in the public eye are frequently expected to explain decisions clearly and openly. A third lesson involves accountability. Many people believe accountability helps strengthen institutions and build trust with supporters. Finally, some viewers have emphasized the importance of grace. Public controversies often involve real people facing real challenges. While opinions may differ, many believers have called for compassion toward everyone involved. Even among ongoing debates, many people continue to remember Joni Lamb's contributions to Christian broadcasting. She helped build a network that reached audiences in numerous countries. She interviewed influential Christian leaders. She participated in conferences, broadcasts, and ministry initiatives that impacted countless viewers. Supporters often point to these accomplishments when reflecting on her legacy. They remember her dedication to Christian television and her commitment to spreading faith-based programming. For them, those contributions remain an important part of her story. At the same time, others believe that public figures should be remembered in full, including both achievements and controversies. This difference in perspective is one reason discussions surrounding her legacy continue. Although Joni Lamb's passing marked the end of an era, the broader story surrounding Daystar is still unfolding. The network continues to operate. Viewers continue to watch. Supporters continue to pray for the ministry. And discussions surrounding the family controversy continue in various corners of Christian media. Future developments may shape how these events are ultimately remembered. Historians, journalists, ministry leaders, and viewers will likely continue examining the controversy and its impact for years to come. For now, the story remains a significant chapter in the history of Christian broadcasting.
The Daystar controversy was never just about headlines. It involved family relationships, ministry leadership, public trust, and deeply personal allegations. It became a story that captured attention throughout the Christian world because it touched on issues that matter to many people. The passing of Joni Lamb has once again brought these discussions into focus. As supporters remember her life and ministry, questions about Daystar's future and the family's public conflict remain topics of ongoing conversation. Whether one views the story primarily through the lens of ministry achievements, family challenges, or organizational accountability, there is no denying its significance. It has left a lasting mark on Christian broadcasting, and its impact will likely be discussed for many years to come. Thank you for watching. If you found this video informative, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. And most importantly, share your thoughts respectfully in the comments below. How do you think history will remember Joni Lamb and the Daystar controversy? Let us know. Thank you for staying with us through this deep